Interesting conversations we've been having here in the studio, and right about now we are moving to another serious conversation, and that is youth and the rising cases of substance abuse. The impact is no longer hidden as families are affected, productivity is threatened, and the future of our youth is at stake. And to help us unpack this critical topic, we are joined by Dr. Dokun Adedeji. He is the CEO of the Compassionate Care Recovery Initiative. You're welcome, Doctor.
Thank you.
All right, now talking about the rising cases of substance abuse. Substance abuse sometimes starts from experimentation for most of the people who are struggling with addiction. As a doctor who is in this field, and this is what you do every day, dealing with young people, how serious is the case of substance abuse in Nigeria today?
You know, let me first of all thank you for bringing me here and talking about this very topical issue. It is extremely serious. It's like an epidemic. You know, and that's why it still bothers me that people treat it with levity, nonchalance, again, benign neglect. You know, the way Nigerians behave, until it touches us, we don't bother about it, but it's right there in our faces. The statistics, I mean, the statistics that is current, although it's a bit old now, was the one created by UNODC. 2017, they did a global survey. And then in 2018, they produced the result. The figures are staggering. You know, the global prevalence rate of use was 5.6%, but for Nigeria was 14.4%, which was like triple of global average. And if you then look at the numerical implications of that, it was between 14 and 15 million Nigerians who had used drugs the previous year. And that was 2017, 2018. Right now, I can tell you we're close to 40 million, if not more than that. And it's estimated by 2030, there'll be a 40% increase over it in Africa. So you can begin to understand the implications of what this is for our country and the dangers we face as a people. In your intro, you said something about future of our youth. It's not that, yes, that's true. But it's more future of our nation. Because what is the percent, if you look at the youth percentage, and the figure then said the most impacted age segment is 25 to 39. If you look at 25 to 30, and that's the productive state of any economy. So if those set of people are destroyed or somehow they can be productive, you can then imagine the effect it's going to have on our country. So that's why I think, and I'm glad that you folks are looking at it, we need to look at this thing. We need to, if we don't want a situation that will become zombies and dummies and nothing to write home about our children, about the generation to come. Look, I can tell you for free that I have met young people as young as 8.
8.
Oh yes, 8, 10.
8 years old.
Oh yes, I have taken pictures, not they told me, with boys that were 10. I met 4 of them when I was called to come and help them set up a center. 10-year-old, and I've been to the joint and I've seen people about 8, 9, 10. So it's a serious matter. It is.
Okay. With these ages you just mentioned, and
you're scared.
I'm really scared. So how do you now describe substance abuse? I can't imagine what an 8-year-old is doing. How did you get there? So how do you describe substance abuse? In today's.
Yes, I'm glad you're saying that.
Yeah.
You know, before we used to call it drug abuse. But we now know that a lot of things that are used that are not drugs.
Drugs, yes.
Will you call methylated spirit drug? Will you call gum a stick? Petrol, will you call that drug? Or will you call, I've seen, people have told me, who go early in the morning to pit latrines to inhale, or to gutters that have not flown in a long time, or the dunghill or put fire to it and then stand around and inhale. So you begin to then say to yourself, they don't really need to have the money to buy those drugs, but they can use those things. And for instance, there's something in the north, they call it zakami. It's a naturally occurring seed. that people use. In the southwest, there's something called gegemu. I don't know whether you folks know. Gegemu is like a plant that grows behind the house. It has fruits. The leaves are boiled, and the fruit from it extremely intoxicating. And then look at the rate at which you see alcoholic drinks, sachet alcoholic drinks.
Yeah.
So how would you say an 8 or 9 or 10-year-old will not begin? That's where we are at. There's no alcohol policy in our country. And so people sell around the motor park, they sell around schools. I remember the last time some years ago, I came to speak on your station, and I heard that the governor had to now direct schools that around them they mustn't have people who sell stuff. Because all those people who sell those, they sell drugs. Some of them pretend to sell sweets. They pretend to sell those, they sell drugs. So that's why, you see, but my contention is that this is not a government thing. It's a collective responsibility, from parents to churches to schools to media, because you need to begin to highlight these things. And I've said it many times, I'm willing to take some of you to the drug joints with hidden camera. Come and see. You'll be amazed at people you will see. Graduates, professionals. I've been to a joint in Lagos here that I met a medical doctor. And I told him, look, if you clean yourself, he graduated, he didn't do his house job. Well, it's in a joint in Lagos that I know. And I brought him and I said, look, if you clean yourself out through rehab, I can still push that they let you continue. He went back. It's still there. There are lawyers there. There are accountants there. Just name it. You'll be shocked. So that's why I don't want us to look at this as, oh, it's area boy stuff. It isn't.
It's beyond that.
It goes beyond that.
Okay, for this example you just made, you know, the doctors, the accountants, you know, what is the cause of this? What and you know, from experience, what are the causes of, you know, people going into drugs?
Sure. You see, as you see one person, the reason is different from the next person. It's multifaceted. But the thing is, parental dysfunction, family dysfunction, restlessness.
Even for a doctor?
Oh, you know, no. When you look at the kind of a doctor, there's a fundamental thing that happens to all of them, no matter the route in which you go. Is a void.
Yeah.
There's usually a void.
That you're seeking to feel.
Yes, there's something you want to feel because you lack something that comes fundamentally. And then that gives you a respite, because they say to you, oh, the pain you are feeling, if you take this, it makes you feel good. Oh, this loss you feel, even for people at home who go through losses or who lose their jobs, that can be the beginning. Suddenly there's no form of, and then they begin to think, how do I survive? How do I fight? And then somebody says, let's just go and cool down. And it's the beginning. And that's the way it starts. So whatever it is that happens to an individual, our threshold of managing those things are different. I may say to myself, I can try and weather through this and that. We're even lucky in the African context, Nigerian context, that you have cousins, you have families that can help. But what about areas where you don't have anyone to help? Even within Nigerian context, that's why you see a lot of depression. People don't get help. They can't go voice out work because expectations of people are different. So it's a lot of reasons. And society. And another thing is very cheap. It's everywhere. If you walk out of this station and walk down the street, you get it to buy. And so the affordability and accessibility are some of the factors that fuel it, and also the restlessness in the society. If you go to certain places, you know, I laugh when I go around Lagos. You see people at about 10 a.m., young people from 18 to 30 sitting around smoking. There's nothing to do. I'm not saying it's lack of job, but it may not be job as in job, but what are the opportunities open to these people? If we can just do a bit of things that get them involved over time, and then the value system in our society changes, we'll see a lot of difference in these things. And then the level of conflict changes. changed. Because if you go to, there was a time when they invaded the Boko Haram camp, they saw cartons and cartons of tramadol. And I keep saying, crime cannot be committed without something inducing you or helping you or enhancing your abilities. I mean, so my problem in Nigeria is that we don't connect the dots. Today we're talking about drugs, and everybody will face it as a means of silo mentality. Let's deal with drugs. Excuse me, what are the other undergirding fundamentals that create the avenue for those? That is the way I think we should think as a country. Oh, insecurity, oh, this one, and then we run after them. But hey, can we look at the fundamentals? What is happening within our society that fears these diversions into those criminalities?
Okay, so you mentioned something about society, and I want to dwell on that too. And particularly about the attitude of people, of society. There was a day I was somewhere and I saw people gathering and they were just laughing, and I was asking, oh, what's going on? And they were laughing at this young boy who was, you know, high and almost walking with his head, and people were just laughing at him. And I was like, this boy is going to fall into the gutter or hurt himself. Can't someone help him? Because he doesn't know what he is doing at the moment. And it kind of touched my heart. I couldn't do anything, you know, I was far away from him, but that there is no sense of that human feeling anymore.
Empathy.
You know, no empathy. You are seeing that this person is practically under the influence of something, and what he's doing he doesn't know, and can even, you know, hurt himself or something. And everybody was just there laughing, and I'm like, where did we miss it?
You know, I said something about...
I almost responded to that. I said I almost responded, you know, because...
You know, the thing, I said something to you about basic value system. When I was growing up in Lagos, you will never see a car kill a chicken on the... You will not see dead chickens on the road. You will not see goat or dogs. You see that, you feel... Today you see human beings, and then you walk past it. There's a number of times I've seen dead bodies, and I'm called, even the emergency. They say, they begin to ask me silly questions. I went to some police, I said, did you see that? They say, we've called them, and that's it, that's a human being. The essence of humanity is lost. What do you see? Look at Anthony Joshua case. People were taking photographs. They were filming. You see, because nobody has a sense of, it could be me. You see, when we begin to look at situations that this could be me, this could be my son, this could be my daughter, then we begin to have a sense of wanting to do something, but we have lost it. And how did it come? Loss of value system. We don't care anymore. We don't worry anymore as long as it's not you. It's the same way you say with the politicians that steal. It doesn't touch them. They don't even think about the stealing is causing so much damage to the society they live in. But until something happens to them, then everybody begins to shout. We must begin to change and be human again. Look, I tell you, these people you think are on drugs, they're fantastic people. I have seen them. I've been with them. I've been in this for about 34 years. Some of them today are doctors, are lawyers, are pastors. And they're in big positions. Some of them are in government. But you see, if you had left them, they would have been there. But it's just a matter of somebody. You know, the story I would like to always say is the Good Samaritan. The pastor passed. He saw and he waved. And another person, oh, I'm in a hurry. But one man, for God showing us that it doesn't matter who, a Samaritan, who is not considered to be human. Not only did he see, he had compassion. His compassion did not stop at that. He stopped at walking to the man, binding him up, put him on a horse, take him to a hospital. That is what compassion is. Everybody can say, oh, I feel sorry. And we walk away. We must begin to change our... Look, honestly, these are beautiful people that had made a wrong turn. And we cannot consign them to that state for eternity. It also speaks to stigma and discrimination. Somebody has done drugs, is okay now. They still remind him. Even families still remind him. So what are you saying to him? That is no good. And you know, as you said about what happened, I've seen families in which we compare our children. Absolutely irresponsible. Why compare your children? I tell people the example of this hand. If you look at where the thumb is, you say, why is it here?
So far away.
But you can't write. You can't hold anything without the thumb. So every child, no matter his state, is also important. The concept of the family setup. So we need, honestly, we just need to change as a people. And it starts from us, goes to the church, goes to the religious bodies. Because you know why I go to that? They see a lot more people than TV and everything. And when we begin to show that concept of love that has no infinity, you see the difference. The person that you think is terrible, show a bit of love. You don't know where he's coming from. Somebody who lost his parents when he was 4 and is being to different homes to live with people, he's been houseboy, he's been this, and then you want him to behave like somebody who comes from my house? Of course not. That understanding must be there. I'm not saying we should be permissive, but I'm asking us to have a bit of understanding. Give room, empathy. Put yourself in the place. If you didn't come from your family, where will you be? You'll be at the motor park. Probably.
Okay. You're talking about empathy. She has spoken about the ones you see on the roads that have lost it completely. I want to talk about, you know, those that are still at home. And, you know, parents or guardians are still saying, okay, oh, she or he behaves strangely, but they still cannot understand why he's doing what he's doing. So I want to find out, how can one quickly, you know, nip it in the bud before it becomes a menace, if I can use that word.
I like the fact that we're now talking about family. You see, the family is the smallest sub-unit of a society, and that is where every goodness, every debauchery, every bad thing starts from. But you know, usually what happens, most parents are no more parents. They don't even have the time. So they do not observe quickly the changes in their children, and they explain it away. Out of ignorance or out of carelessness, they explain it away. For instance, when a child begins to recede into himself or herself, it may not necessarily be drugs, but you need to interrogate it. When a child begins to misbehave, is becoming rude, it never was like that, there's something going on. A child begins to wear dark glasses, even in the sitting room at night, there's something wrong. Or a child begins to leave home about the evening and returning late at night, a teenager, you must begin to interrogate that. But when you are not there, when you are not at home, how would you know? Even when you are at home, many parents do not understand the meaning of emotional intelligence. How to give a bit of emotional cushion to our children. We think these young people don't have issues. They have issues. Who do they speak to? Do you offer them the opportunity to sit down with you and talk and tell you how they feel? Can they tell you that they don't like what you're doing? How will you take it? Parents don't like to hear those things. We must get to that point of having relations with their children. And it's not when in their teenage years, it's already too late. If your child comes to you, let's say an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, Daddy, I like to, you say, oh, can't you see that I'm busy? Come back. If you call him in an answer, you say, Daddy, don't worry. And you say, okay. He's found an answer. You need to understand what the answer he found. You see, we must create time. I'm not saying we should not work. But why do we work? We say we work for them. Of course not. Many times it's for our ego that we work. Of course it's not for them. When you go build 4 houses and buy 10 cars, is it for them? Of course it's not. It's your own ego. So the family must now begin to come back home and create an altar where people can have discussion. Why do you choose courses for your children? Why do you force them to read particular things? Why do you push them in a particular direction? I give the example quickly. Wole Soyinka. We all know Wole Soyinka. The whole world knows Wole Soyinka. And what did he read? Literature and drama. His younger brother taught me in medical school. You don't know him. Femi Soyinka, Professor Femi Soyinka, although he's dead now, people don't know him. You see, so what I'm saying, a man does not what you command is not about what you read, about what you make of what you have read. So we must begin to understand, let a child read what he chooses, as long as he's guided, and let him make a success of it. Jim Carter wrote a book, he called it, Why Not Be the Best? If you're going to be a carpenter, be the best.
Be the best, yeah.
If you're going to be a tailor, we wear designer clothes. Who sold them? Are they spirits? They're not.
They're not.
They're human beings. So,
All right.
It can be a doctor. I had just one last question. You give us, this scary statistics, that in 2030, no,
it will be 40%.
It will be 40% increase. So what needs to be done to reduce these numbers that keep escalating from the government to the schools to individuals?
Right. You see, I like that. The whole nation is looking to NDLA. NDLA can't solve this problem because NDLA cannot be in your street, cannot be in your school. We are the people there. What do we do as inhabitants of a community about people who sell drugs? What do we do about where we know they sell it and openly? What level of awareness have we created for people to understand how much are parents involved?
That awareness is not enough.
Yeah.
It's not enough. I said the awareness there is not enough.
It's not enough.
We're only paying lip service to it. Yes.
How many people watch MTV at this point?
It's more like ceremonial.
Yeah, it's much more than that. Look, I've volunteered to some churches, some institutions. Let me come and speak. Let us help you. Everybody pushes it away. Nobody wants to talk about drugs until it hits them. Then they begin to call you. So if we make it so, as we're talking, we make it everywhere, and people begin to understand, not frightening them, but telling them the dangers, what it does to you as an individual, what it does to your family, what it does to society. We begin to cascade it down. We can't leave everything to government. Some of them are too occupied with whatever else than to worry about what happens to you and I.
Oh, wow.
Substance abuse amongst Nigerian youth is, it's a menace. It's an epidemic, and as individuals, family, schools, government, who else? Institutions.
Yeah.
Institutions, government bodies. It is all those people that I've mentioned. It is our task. And like Dr. Dokun said, you don't leave it to government alone. You don't leave it to NDLA alone to fight the fight. I'm going to leave you with what Joshua normally says. When you see something, you say something. And then do something. Thank you, Dr. Dokun Adedeji.
My pleasure.
We've been talking youth and rising cases of substance abuse. And this needs to be talked about every single day. Not that we're having a ceremony today. We want to come and talk about. No, it has to be continuous. Thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure.
For joining us.
Thank you.
We'll go on a short break. When we come back, the conversation continues.